So in this edition of Wisdom from the Workshop, I'm going to show you how to get free copper. Everybody loves copper. Copper is probably the most desirable of all the non-semi-precious metals, but it's expensive. People don't want to pay for it. I'm going to show you how to get it. So the tools you're going to need for this whole endeavor, first of all, you need a pretty basic angle grinder, about 25 bucks. This is about as expensive as any of the tools you're ever going to need. Other than that, it's just some kind of a simple pry bar, hammer, a screwdriver, preferably with Phillips and regular attachment, bolt cutters, and if necessary, something to cut with. Very, very basic stuff. So obviously this free copper has to come from somewhere. Someone has to give it to you. Don't steal it. This free copper comes from Craigslist. What you do is you go on Craigslist and you say you will take select e-waste year-round. Most states do not have a year-round e-waste setup. You know, people like to recycle. I live in Michigan, big recycling state, but we don't have a year-round e-waste pickup. Usually it's once a year. So people can get rid of their crap, free up some space in their storage. They'll do it, and they'll just let you have it. That's where travel expenses come in. You actually have to go to them to pick it up. Do what you can, make it as more efficient as possible, but that'll work. Alright, so the most common type of electric motor you're going to get is going to be from vacuum cleaners. They just take up a ton of space, they break a lot, people get new ones. I've got two basic types here. I've got a relatively modern-ish. It's old enough that someone would have thrown it out. And then I've got just a super old Hoover. This is probably 1970s. Two good examples of the spectrum that you're going to be working with. But once you've actually got the electric motor, the technique that I'm going to show you will work with literally any electric motor. Alright, so now that I've gotten everything off this guy, look how big that is. See how much crap comes out of these? That's why I do this. This is probably a couple pounds just right here. So, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to cut the part that does not have the wire on it, basically right here. Then I'm going to smash this part with a hammer. Not that that won't come off, but I have stress in my life. So I'm going to cut those up, and then I'm going to pull this center piece out, and then I'm going to go from there. So it turns out that the way to get to these is, don't do that. The best way to get to these old motors from the old pre-EPA, this turns out is 1966 according to the label, is to go to the top as opposed to the bottom. There is a way I can actually double this volume without, basically with going with the exact same vacuum cleaner. There's a second source, the cord. All you need for the cord is to find the end. Now, take your knife, basically kind of skin it. All the way to the end. And pull. So now that I've harvested the cord, believe it or not, about half that volume is the goal. And what I'm actually going to have to do is I'm going to throw this in the forge and I'm going to burn this off. You're thinking fumes, this is mostly like hemp fibers and a little bit of rubber. So this is going to burn like a paper. So in the end, after about an hour and a half, I've got close to 5 pounds of copper with everything, a crap load of a mess, one flesh wound. But you're probably wondering, and very rightfully so, now you've got other people's garbage. Why do I care? What do I want to do with this? Well, here's the thing. This, because all the good stuff has been dismantled, the labor has been spent, this can be thrown in a conventional recycle bin. And they will recycle it, because look at this, it's just plastic, basically. Plastic and rubber. Your dumping fees don't cost you anything. If you are a small business and you don't recycle, I don't want to hear you bitch about your dumping fees. This whole thing, I go through literally less than 5-gallon bucket worth of trash in a month because of how much I recycle. Whew, that is hot. This is about a third of what I got out of those motors. Came out, well, the metal itself came out pretty nice. I'm really not happy with this casting, but that's how you get free copper for either sale or metal casting. Thank you. Obviously, where is this copper going to come from? Well, for that, you're going to need internet access. Now, if you're watching this on social media, and odds are you have internet access. Sorry, let's let that boat get around whatever it just smashed into. Hold on. Are you good? Okay.